Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Be Well reading series. My name is Nicole Tallman, and I am your host for this evening. And we are honored tonight to do a very special tribute to a very special person, Maureen Seaton. This is going to be a celebration of a new anthology that's going to be coming out from Harbor Editions, and we have our anthology editor with us, Dustin Brookshire. And we have four amazing featured readers from that anthology. So I'm going to turn it over to Dustin from here. And I'll let you know we're going to reserve a little bit of time at the end after our four featured readers have read. So if you do have any questions, you can feel free to pop those in the chat or just wait until the end and, raise your hand or whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dustin. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
I want to extend my gratitude to Nicole and to ELJ Editions for hosting this. I think this is a perfect space to have this, what I'm calling the preview event for this chapbook anthology, since the ELJ did publish A Sky as an Elephant, Maureen's last solo collection. There is more work coming. It's collaborative, but her last solo collection. So you should write it down if you don't have it. The Sky as an Elephant, ELJ, Google and purchase it after. So again, gratitude, Nicole and ELJ. It was 2 years ago. I think I was in writer's block, and what I always do is I pull the books of poets that I love. I'm sure all of you do this, and start reading their work to get inspired. And it was Little Ice Age. And When I Was Straight really struck me. And it really helped me write through some things that actually I've wanted to write for 20 years. Leave it to Maureen to give the words that pull something out of you that's been brewing for 20 years. And I sent it to her. I was so nervous. And she was kind and gracious, as she always is, a light. And it hit me. I was like, what if we could get a bunch of different people in the LGBTQI community to write a poem called When I Was Straight? Read Maureen's poem if they're not familiar with it, and see how it inspires them. And that was the only rule. Your poem had to have the title When I Was Straight, and write what you feel inspired to write. And I'm always grateful because I cook up a lot of ideas. Half of them fail, some of them work. And 22 people said yes to this project and submitted work. Not going to tell you all the names because you've got to pay attention to Small Harbor Publishing / Harbor Edition, social media, when we do an official release of the names of all 22 people. But you know 4 people here tonight. So you're getting that preview of 4 people that are in this chapbook. It will be coming out in December. We can't wait for you to have it. And I thought what I would do is share a little something that Susan Cleary, who is the author of The Odds from New York Quarterly Books, had to say about this chapbook anthology. This anthology will be a classic in gender studies, as well as poetry. I schooled myself in distance, observes J.D. Issop. What did I know about myself that wasn't a key in the wrong lock, asked Diamond Ford. Travis Chi Wing Lao recalls, I learned how to walk the upright gait of a man walking away from himself. Julie Marie Wade explains, I did not love women as I do now. I loved them with my eyes closed, my back turned. Mel Sure states, I knew what women could do alone, together in a room, or alone in this world. This is an anthology that shows each and every reader that they are not alone in this world. So I am very, very thrilled to be the editor of When I Was Straight, a tribute to Maureen Seaton. And if you see what I did there, I may have given you a little more of a sneak of people that were in it on the slide, but still pay attention to the social media to figure out everyone that is in it. So to open, before I turn it over to our 4 fabulous readers, I am going to read the poem that inspired it all. Maureen Seaton's When I Was Straight. When I was straight, I dreamed of nipples. My dreams were crowded with cleavage and yin. I read a book that said, if you are fickle about sex, note your obsession in dreams, then do the opposite in real life. This made sense, my boyfriend said, though it seemed oddly like a game of exquisite corpse to me. We'd make love, I'd dream of figs and drizzled pink, and sometimes I'd lapse into madrigal's meaning of the womb. Big leap from the straightforward sessions in bed of linearity and menthol. Legs would cross and uncross in my dreams. Heads fall back with me at the throat. I adored the winged clavicle, the link between breastbone and scapula. Straight as gin, I poured myself into pretense and fellatio, and could count on me for bold orgasms, for trapeze art and graceful aerobics. Oh, there is no lover like a panicked lover. Once I dreamed of abandoning the old boyfriend theory of headache and blunderbuss. Believe me, I said, this will hurt him more than me. But the dream laughed. Torture me, I thought. Now that even my id has turned against me, there is something fragile here to lose. Exquisite truth. And I did. Our readers this evening are Claire Benzadon, Reggie Cabico, Tyler Gillespie, and Emma Bolden, and the screen is now theirs.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank Dustin. I want to thank Nicole. I want to thank ELJ Editions, and I want to thank everyone here. So I'm going to first read my poem, When I Was Straight. My high school boyfriend read a poem in front of library crowd to ask me to prom. He insisted he wanted to get married, with a fear. No, not him. I was the one afraid, a fraud. Straight edge. I thought there can only be one way to love, so the path was to find a boyfriend, then get hitched. Then I switched. In college, my whole head would turn red. My chest would beat as I stared too long at the woman with the dyed hair and piercings walking adjacent from me to the same poetry class. And I adhered. I had to hear me say to myself, "You just like her style." But I knew deep inside me my body was urging, wildly hot and wet. I am straight, I told myself, until I leaned in, took her in like desire was an endless vessel. I was moving my mouth all over her, messy and crooked, deviant and devil. I never stopped, looked back. All right. Now I'm going to read Maureen's poem from Sweet World titled What, Me? During the blizzard, I ached with precognition. Our souls linked trapeze artists, our watches dangling in the icy continuum, our anti-gravitational loose change rising. There's destiny in our future. I can't help but worry we're somehow sinking, even sunk. In the midst of all this frippery, we're headed for a kind of disguised cliff. When I worry I am wasting supposed time, or that if there is a being of some unimaginably sentient proportion with a lovely plan, I am a little idiot. When one of us shines, I have the urge to yank the shiny one to the side of the stage. I worry someone will see the light and shoot at it. I worry about words, breast and landlocked and lucky, words I've distilled right out of this poem in an effort to preserve essence. I worry that you will not move to my state and I will not move back to your state and that our states will suffer irreparable worry on our behalf. Worry is a dark room where negatives are developed, they say, and I am a photograph awash in black water. And then the last poem I'm going to read is another one of my poems. It's titled Green Dream. Before the world was measured in fruit, I forgot the color iguana existed. I could have accidentally stepped into the chameleon's maw. Its blended in features granny apple, moondrop grape, kiwi. I could have tamed the creature by munching or bawling its source of light flight. It would have flipped over, spliced a new term like green beans or green dream. Of course, weed is the first living strain to come to mind. A green dream can also be a vision of what our futures hold. City buildings floating as green bottles, all trapped in nettled bodies, verdant melting vantage points, witnessing chrome turn dull chameleon, marking its last celadon gooseberry footprint. Thank you.
Wow, that was Claire Benzadon, everyone. I'm Reggie Cabico, and I'm really humbled to be in this Zoom platform with you all. Thank you to Nicole and Dustin and to ELJ Editions. It's great to be meeting these poets who I have not read with. So it is an honor to celebrate Maureen Seaton, who I was introduced to by Denise Duhamel in the 90s in New York City. And Maureen has just been such a mentor, and her work has just always been inspiring. As Essen said, if you have writer's block, just flip through Maureen Seaton poems and the poems will come forth. So um, this is my poem in the book. What I liked about this exercise is that I didn't have to worry about the title. The title was already there. Um, when I was straight, and it was fun to bring up my Catholic Filipino um, memories. When I was straight, I crushed on Mr. Rink, the choir leader, who was so hot, none swooned as he sauntered past lockers in his tight white tennis shorts, tussling my hair with his leather-scented hand. He kept me after school to rehearse my tenor in One Bread, One Body. I dared not stare at his deep chocolate eyes as I harmonized with his baritone. I fought the urge to reach down and touch his golden calves, glistening, the sunlight shafts penetrating the stained glass body of St. Michael. Queer desire ballooned, but I stuffed the flutters of the Holy Ghost, an obsidian rock inside me. All the straight girls and closeted boys hated me, but I wore my dutiful halo. I stood on the altar like a solitary bowling pin among hallowed penguins. Open mouthed, I warbled a high G as the glorious mysteries bulged under my cassock. All right. Um, there are so many wonderful Maureen Seaton poems, but this one in particular is the one that spoke to me. And I just think where we are now in these unprecedented times, this poem just empowers me. So I hope that it empowers you during these confusing times. It's called Save Yourself for Better Times, after Virgil in the Aeneid by Maureen Seaton. I will not save myself for better times. I will use myself up now and then. I will use myself up again tomorrow. It's why my eyes stay open all night and my heart throws itself to the stars to see which ones decide to stand still and grow a constellation around me. And so my response to this Maureen Seaton poem was written at my high school poetry class a week ago. We looked at a poem by Denez Smith, um, Little Prayer. And so this was written last week. It's called A Poem of Hope, a week before Election Day. And even though it is past Election Day, I look at this still as a poem of hope. It's after Denez Smith with an ending by Gwendolyn Brooks. Let the bowling ball of November strike the opera of corruption. Let the monuments of racism explode into honey hives to soothe the seasonal virus. Let centipedes chisel their way through the treble clefts of change and protest. Let us ride on an arc of curiosity and not doom. Life has too many fissures, and we. Thank you so, so much. And without any further ado, I pass it on to Tyler.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you for reading those. I love all those poems. Thank you to Dustin for having me and ELJ and Nicole. When I was straight, I still spoke with crooked letter, crooked letter. A citrus slice, I slurped words, then said them short and sweet, of course. Saussure argues an arbitrary relationship exists between signifier and sign, so we can never think of the same Eden twice, while others say we can't step foot in the garden anyway. I'm unsure of my beliefs on synchronicity, but in this sans serif poem, seraphim snap their wings and rhythm step as we plant our own stories, sing our own songs. White Balloon by Maureen Seaton. To love something you know will die is holy. Kaddish, AIDS Memorial, New York, 1987. The air is gravid with life. The cloudless sky swells with souls ascending. I'm in charge of one young soul tied to my wrist with a string that won't break. St. Veronica's, the end of June, you weep beside me. Hold a candle steadily near the flame. Earlier, we were two ladies shopping on Broadway. I recall your wire of a body, the delicate arc of ribs and small breast above this, as you quick changed in search of something radical, feminine. Your terror of pink amused me. You said, "Don't tell anyone of this sudden reversal." I said, "I will, but I'll change your name. Linda, it's the letting go that terrifies. The night air alive with rising ghosts, the cries of strong men grieving in each other's arms, the ease with which we love." And then I'm going to end with a poem from my book, Florida Man Poems Revisited. The sky is gay. I don't make the rules. Muse, oh muse, the thunder cracks, and I know you're here in Florida, the lightning capital. Bolts blaze this day, something fierce, as heat expands the air around and creates a shockwave. We hear boom. I learned this science from a cereal box. There's poetry everywhere. It heats our words until boom, say Shara, oh muse. This state of shells is shambles. I'm worried about alliteration and their patterns, but right now I'm emotional about clouds. I can't get over the fact they're constantly changing. Ice crystals of abstract art we can look at whenever we want. Don't tell me there's no God. Don't tell me aliens aren't real. Mars has clouds like ours, but Jupiter makes clouds ammonia. I learned this science from NASA. Based in Florida, they study ice crystals. After the storm passes, our sky, blue, pink, whites, the colors of a trans flag. Later, the sun comes out as a double rainbow. I pause. A visual, say Shara. There's poetry in my home state's sky, and we know clouds shift with the wind, but muse, oh muse, please remind us this as we do our best to syllable a new dawn. Okay, thank you so much. And then the next person after me is Emma.
Thank you, Tyler. That was gorgeous. Thank you so much. Claire, Reggie, it's an honor to read with you. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, ELJ Editions. The first poem I'm going to read is my poem from the anthology. When I Was Straight. In Catholic school, we kneeled to learn what it meant to be holy. On the playground, our classmates taught a different catechism about what happened on your knees, how a girl could lead a boy to ascension, a heaven kingdom within the bedrooms of our world. It's only natural, they preached. The girls with older sisters, older cousins, mothers with lips loosened by their nightly sacrament of Chardonnay. From the mount of grass by the tire swings, they sermoned sex as a gift from God, sacred like a prayer. I couldn't understand. I couldn't divine within my nature what Amanda, Leah, Lauren said, and I believed, made us human. The wet and the open and thrust, the flush pink slipping two cheeks curved towards a body, another body. Nothing in me knew what it meant to want. In mass, by my bed, hidden behind the bathroom's lock, I dropped to my knees and prayed, "Oh Lord, make me normal, make me enough." I didn't know then that there were other truths just as natural within the body, about the body. I didn't yet know that absence doesn't always mean you're lacking, that being is beautiful, is enough. And the next poem I'm going to read is by Maureen. Etta's Elegy for Etta Silver, 1913 through 2013. This is where the poem holds its breath, where the usable truth sways, sorrowing, and the people sway with the truth of it. And this is where the poem enters the dark. This is where the book closes and the clock opens, and the clock closes and the book opens to song, so the snow geese murmur and the coyote swaggers along the aspens. This is where the geese fly unabashedly out, and the sky turns white and wild with sound. This is where tumult, this is where prophecy, this is where the poem repents of language. This is where the poem enters silence, where the child holds the book in her lap, whose pages are aflame with life, whose song sways with a usable truth, sorrowing. And this is where the poem holds its breath. And this is where the poem enters the dark. This is where it leaps wild about the child, where the snow geese sees the seamless sky and the universe splits open for one poem. The way a life lived calls on us to praise it. I love that poem so much. So nothing felt right for me to read for my third poem. So I'm nothing that I usually read, I should say, felt right. So I'm going to do something I don't ever do, which is I'm going to read a really new poem. I wrote this on Monday. So yeah, it's rough, but it's right. It felt right. Political science. The weather never changed its clothes. Under the government's umbrella we marched, protest bright on our tongues like lime. It was a good year for goats and chrysanthemums, for winnowing wheat from chaff, and everywhere sirens lured the landscape to color, red to blue, back to red. My body had little to do with my country, but my country wanted everything to do with my body. A cow lowed as she gave up her milk, and a child poured milk into another child's eyes. The chyrons blinked and blinked again, breaking red as a wound reopened, and the fragrance of emergency followed us home. Pepper and chlorine, Lysol, povidone iodine. I could not calculate the extent of severance, ever present as the distance between my own 2 feet. Our phones spoke to our back pockets. I heard the fire. Stay safe. I love you. We realized how long ago we should have imagined the unimaginable. The mountain's edge crumbled under the logic of sand. August became August, and then September, October. We prayed to our God that there was such a thing as God. In our homes, we hid away every last thing we could lose, then found we couldn't hide ourselves. And everywhere, platitudes turned yellow, then orange, then fell. Whose feet will remain to crush the world's final leaf? Thank you.
So you have just heard from Claire Benzaton, Reggie Cabico, Tyler Gillespie, and Emma Bolden reading their poem from When I Was Straight, a tribute to Maureen Seaton, and some other poems. I want to give a shout out because we have staff and fabulous human beings from South Florida Poetry Journal here tonight, Lenny, Michael, and Judy. And SoFlo Pojo, that's the cool way to say it, people, sponsors and hosts the Maureen Seaton Poetry Prize. This is our second year doing that prize together, and it's only possible because Michael, Judy, and Lenny have put in the work to make it happen. And I am so grateful for everything that they coordinate and do. So if you are a member of the LGBTQI plus community, you can submit to this prize through December 31st of this year. And the final judge this year is Aaron Smith, who is a collaborator who collaborated with Maureen. I also give a shout out to Sam Ace because Sam was our inaugural judge for the first year of that contest. So thank you for being here tonight, Sam. And this chapbook anthology, if you purchase it, decide to purchase a copy for friends, give it away as gifts, all of that royalty funds will go to fund the Maureen Seaton Poetry Prize. So it will be doing some good. So just remember that when you're looking for books to give as gifts and you're watching this. And so with that, I will turn it back over to our fabulous MC, Nicole.
Thank you, Dustin, and thank you to all the readers. Such beautiful poems, and so amazing to be surrounded by such uplifting words during such a difficult time. I think we can open the floor to audience questions if anyone has anything they want to ask about the project or any of the poems that our readers read tonight, or poets can ask poems of each other. The readers can ask ask questions of each other as well. It's an open floor to anyone who wants to either drop something in the chat or raise your hand. If you don't have any questions, I can ask a question, or maybe Dustin has questions. Dustin's very inquisitive. Right? Come on, Dustin, you are very inquisitive. So anyone have any questions about the project or the readers? No? Seeing none, Dustin, do you want to talk a little bit about, oh, Carolina, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I almost didn't come. It's been such a dark couple of days, so I want to thank everyone. And I'm glad that I came, and I want to thank you for the healing words. It's been very positive experience, so I'm glad I came. Thank you all.
I want to echo that. I almost didn't come for this very same reason. That's all I'll say.
Dustin, I mean, you talked a little bit about the project, but did you want to talk, was there anything else that you wanted to say in terms of, I know you don't want to say too much about it because you're kind of doing like this drip reveal of who's in the anthology, but maybe did you want to talk about the AWP panel?
Yeah, more. So Nicole is moderating. We are doing a tribute panel based off the chat book. So I'm so grateful to Nicole for agreeing to do the legwork and put it in and moderate. So we'll be joined with Diamond Ford, Denise Duhamel, and Kara Dad Maura Grantlier for this panel. And if you're in LA, you should drop in and hear it. And I will say, Denise is involved in the project as well, but you have to just sort of pay attention to social media to see. I'm trying to drive everybody to the Small Harbor social media, if you can't tell, where you can get all these answers, because they're a great feminist press, very queer supporting, and they do a lot of good work. So check them out.
And in terms of the anthology itself, I think you said that the press doesn't do pre-order, right?
They do not. So the date is set for December 14th. Waiting on a couple of updates. You know, there's been a hurricane. Life has been hell, I think, for a lot of us for various different reasons, but pretty sure we're going to be able to stick with that date. So it will be on social media again, driving you to that Small Harbor social media, their website. That'll be the way that you'll be able to find out about it. When you go to smallharborpublishing.com, you can click on the top menu button. You can go to books, and there will be an option for anthologies. And that is where you can also get updates if you don't want to go through social media.
And is there a launch event planned, a formal launch event?
There is. I'm still waiting for a few details. So can I drive? Can I be that person still saying go back to that social media events on there? I might can do a little more preview. Let me check what I'm allowed to say.
I'm trying to create intrigue is what I'm trying to do here.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yes, I'm asking all the hard-hitting questions like a true journalist. Carolina says, can you write the name of the press in the chat? Yes, we can do that. We can even give you a link. We can go beyond just writing the name. Let me see. See how well I can Google right now. Yeah, you don't have to say, I'm just trying to like help build it up, Dustin. So you don't have to say anymore.
I love it.
Uh,
I will confess, like Maureen loved Halloween and Day of the Dead, and just with how life had happened with hurricane and other things, we just weren't able to make that happen. So I was a little sad about that. So I almost gave you the wrong date because I wanted to tell you a date in the past because I know how much that meant to her.
I think I put the right link. Did I put the right link, Dustin? Check out my work in case I screwed it up. I think that's right.
Yep.
Hey, everyone. I
have a
just wanted to, oh, sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Sam.
I just wanted to say how beautiful hearing all of you was, and just grateful for these poems, and thank you so much, all of you. And just this anthology is amazing, and I can't wait really to see the whole. I do have one little tidbit. I don't even know if I should say it. Maybe it's kind of secret, but Tyler, the white balloon poem actually was, Maureen wrote that about the two of us at that memorial walk in New York in 1987. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there and say that. It just brought back those memories and that gorgeous poem.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that poem. I
It's
just
so
really love
beautiful.
it.
Yeah. And she said she changed the name, but she didn't. As some of you know, that was the name I was given at birth as Linda Smuckler, but so beautiful to hear it.
Thank you for sharing. I wrote about that poem in one of my my low residency classes. So I love knowing that little flag. And I have to correct, I have a there 12/14 is another meaning for me at work. 12/13 is the publication day. I promise I do know about my own projects that I'm working on, but 12/13 is the publication day. I just have some work things. And then the launch event is on the 17th. But if there was a quiz, you would say you could go to the Small Harbor social media and get all of that and stay tuned. And I will say, just like I did the little tidbit about Denise being involved, Sam is involved in the project, but you're gonna have to stay attention to social media to see why and how. And it's fabulous, and you will love it.
We have definitely created a lot of intrigue for this anthology. So I think I will close here. And thank you all for joining us. The series is typically the first Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. And I'll be announcing the readers for our December feature soon. Just working out a couple of details on that. So again, thank you all for joining us tonight. It's so great to host you. Thank you to Dustin. Thank you to our amazing readers. And I'm just going to end on these words. Everyone, be well. Thank you so much.